Welcome to Hallie's Creations. We are going to do 5 different wreath shares. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. First, we're going to start with the St. Patty's wreath, and I want to remind you, first and foremost, don't forget to subscribe as you're watching this, if you like what you're watching, and set your notify, and let's do this. So first, we're going to start off with the wreath form from the DollarTree. This is a 16-inch wreath form, but you can use any size you want. The mesh I actually picked up at the DollarTree as well. On my crafting board here, you can see the different measurements. So as we're going along and we're making the different projects, you can get an idea how long to cut your strips. But it's pretty easy peasy. And what I normally do when I make any type of creation is I just kind of go for the feel of it. So I have the board down there where you can see the measurements and how we're going to be doing this. Right now I'm just getting everything off of the row, making 3 loops, and then we are going to attach this to the wreath form. So 3 loops, and then loops are about 16 to 18 inches per loop. Wrap that around with a zip tie and snap it down, and do this in each section. Nice big fluffy, really pretty this particular share, because we're doing 5 creations that we've already done and uploaded to my YouTube playlist, so they are on my YouTube playlist. I just chose to make this as a collection of 5 different wreaths that you can do all in one place. But if you want to look at this over or on the other one as I'm talking and sharing through the process, you're more than welcome to do that. This is just a collection piece. So what we're going to do here is use those zip ties, each section, and just zip tie it down. 3 loops, 16 to 18 inches. And remember too, when I share when you're doing your zip ties, to cut them with your wire cutters. That's better than using your scissors, because you're going to dull your scissors out and ruin them over a course of time if you're using scissors. So we're doing this on the inside and the outside. Again, just a little reminder, if you like what you're seeing, see the little picture over there on the side, subscribe. No, that's the wreath when it's done. But anyway, if you like what you're watching and you enjoy these shares, please subscribe to my channel and set your notify so you don't miss out on the new uploads. Those of you that do follow me know that I'm in transition right now. That's why I'm reworking a lot of my different videos that I have, putting them into collections to make it easier for you. Most of my things are in storage while my studio is torn down and we relocate into our new home. I've been doing quite a bit of digital art. That's something I can do without having my studio. And I'll be doing some other art pieces and shares as well. So be looking for those things as we continue and grow the channel. But meanwhile, this is kind of where we're at right now. So we're just going to add this all the way around. We're going to go on the outside of the ring, the inside of the ring, and just do it as it feels and looks good to you. You don't want to overfill your wreath form, because then you can't manipulate and work it either. So you're going to have gaps and you're going to have things that you can't see. So we're just going to recap here. 3 loops, 16 to 18 inches, and that's going to make it real easy peasy for you. If you want to do 2, you can, but it won't be as full and fluffy. This mesh ribbon you can pick up at the DollarTree for $1.25 now, or you can pick it up at any of your hobby stores, even on Amazon. I have found that for most bang for your buck, you want to get them at the DollarTree, and then that little, I'm just showing my scissors there. You can use your scissors, or you can use one of those roller cutters too. So, and those you can pick up at your hobby stores as well. That was actually a gift to me. Thank you, my friend who bought that for me. You know who you are. So here I'm leaving a little gap because I'm going to put that centerpiece in there. And I've already created the centerpiece, but I'm going to show you how to do it as well. It's shamrock from the Dollar Tree. I blinged it out, put a bow on it, but we're going to do that too as we go into this share. So now we're just going to go into smaller zigzags for fillers, and we're going to fill this wreath form up. Another thing to think about too is that you don't have to use all one color. You can use this for pretty much any type of wreath that you want to make for any holiday or just for fun and giggles and laughs. But don't do that loop-de-loop, because if you do, it's not going to look as pretty. You want to zigzag it. There's a method for everything and a reason for everything. See how it's this bigger and fluffier, zigzagging it versus looping it. So we're just going to continue to make this wreath form, and I will be back. Here we picked up some garland from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to add this in just to give it some fullness and to fill it. So what you're going to do is just wrap this around, and you'll see how I'm doing it, your wreath form to fill in all those little gap areas, and we're going to loop it and make like little loopy bows all the way around with the garland. I just do a single loop and I pull the garland in with it to give it a little pop. Sometimes you think you have to keep the garland all in one place and all intact, and you don't. You can loop it and cut it and do whatever you want with it. Remember to trim your zip ties. Don't cut them too close where they come apart, but you want to cut down to the head, and use your wire cutters to do that. And I've always shared you can pick these wire cutters up at any hobby store pretty much, or at any hardware store. Mine I picked up, I think, at Lowe's. It might have been Home Depot. Now we're going to attach the centerpiece here, and you can even just put a big fat cute bow in there. That would look cute, or a little leprechaun, or anything you want to accent your wreath with. A lot of times when you make these little wreaths, you forget to leave a gap for your bow or your little accent that you're going to put in there. So leave one little section open for you can add to that, and then you can build around it. Now we're going to add some of the cute little accents that we picked up at the Dollar Tree. Most of these items are from the Dollar Tree. The ribbon I picked up actually yard selling, and this ribbon is actually sold through Sam's and Costco. But yeah, and it has that real pretty gold to it, and I thought for St. Patty's Day that would be perfect. Remember what I shared too, you can pick up your ribbons and your supplies after the holidays at least 50 to 70% off usually. For me, I love a killer deal, so I try to get it at 80 and 90%. It's part of the thrill of just getting a good deal, and that's how I make my supplies and how I'm able to actually do a lot of these shares for you, for you can enjoy them at an affordable, fun price. So this is from Dollar Tree, and now we're going to jump over to ribbons and lace. This is a Valentine's Day wreath form. So much fun. So let's get started on this one. This is those god ugly Valentine that they have during Valentine's for decorations. I mean, they're okay and everything, but for me it's like, oh my goodness, I just have playing with it. But this is a great form to build your ribbons and lace off of, because it's already full, so you don't have to cover up anything. That's just going to pop and show through, and it's going to be so pretty when it's done. So just make a whole bunch of little ribbons and bows and put them to the side, and now we're going to attach them to the form. If you're a seamstress, you like to sew, if you have extra material laying around or lace, extra ribbons from the holidays and things like that, hang on to it, because you can put it into a wreath like how this one is, and it's just so much fun, so much fun. So here we're just showing you the different type of bows that we've made and how we've done the single loop with some tulle on it. So we have ribbons, all different sizes, and we're going to attach this and make a really pretty heart. This is actually one of my favorite wreaths. And most of these are inspirations from other artists that I've seen and creatives that have made things as well. And I look at them and go, oh wow, yeah, let's do a spin off of that. So that's what we're doing here. So we're going to twist and attach all these ribbons. These ribbons are made with pipe cleaners. So you just take the pipe cleaner, you do a couple twists on there, and you attach it to the form. When you're attaching it to the form, if you have the long ribbons, you want them to be hanging down towards the tip of the heart. That way it hangs nice and pretty. So just go through and attach all the fun little ribbons and bows and lace to your heart form. You can pick these heart forms up pretty much at any party store. I know during the holidays, the Dollar Tree carries them for Valentine's Day and such, and so does Wally's World, Walmart, and probably Target does too, and your hobby stores. I know I saw these at Hobby Lobby, and I think Michael's has them as well. Again, as a reminder, I like to plan ahead, so I buy my supplies a year in advance pretty much. So after the holidays, I will pick up a whole bunch of things for next year's share. So that's a really good time to go shopping. About a week after the holiday is when they start marking things down for you. Remember too, as I share, Christmas, when you're buying Christmas supplies, and right now Christmas supplies are 80% off at Michael's. I think Hobby Lobby's already blown them out, but you can pick up the red and the white sometimes. It's pretty much gone through at this point, but for 80 to 90% off. So you want to be looking for that. Red is Christmas, Valentine's Day, so you can use that throughout the year. The white is generic, that's anytime, anywhere. And yeah, and then of course the heart ribbons and stuff like that you want to get during the Valentine's Day season, or shortly thereafter to get the good deals. So we're just going to attach these all over the heart wreath and fill it into how you like it. And then I made a long tail to put at the tip of the heart, so you'll see that with the ribbon and lace. You're going to put those on the bottom to give it some fullness. Now that we've attached the long tail, we're going to put a cute bow over the top of it just to accent it and bring it all together. And we're doing this throughout the whole heart form. I'm going to show you here in a second what it looks like. And this particular share was actually a live that I did on Facebook. So if you go back into my Facebook page, Hallie's Creations, you should be able to just put that in and be able to find this one on Facebook as a live. I also have it on my YouTube channel under my playlist for wreath making, and it's where I'm talking to you as we're putting it together instead of the voiceover. So depending on how you want to watch it. Remember, as you're attaching your lace, as I'm showing you the heart form again, as you're attaching your ribbons and lace to it, just kind of keep it balanced as you're going around. And make the long ends come down, and then the tail you want at the tip of your heart. Use a lot of tulle, ribbon, and lace. Be generous with your supplies. Don't be skimpy. And it'll look really, really cute. And on here too, it's just so much fun because I'm going through and I'm fluffing it all out, finding the little bare spots and just adding some of those loopy-loos into it. Just going to get a different angle here for you can see what I'm doing. So we're putting those pipe cleaners on, and now we're going to trim them down. On the pipe cleaners, I like to do 2 to 3 twists just to make sure they're on there really good. Make it your own style. Have fun with it. Remember, when you're cutting your pipe cleaners, to use your wire cutter. Don't ruin your scissors. This was one of the first videos that I had done as a live shortly after I really started getting my Facebook page going. And so my filming techniques and everything have changed. You'll notice that as you watch newer filmings that you can actually see a little bit better what I'm doing, so I apologize for that. This was a learning curve. But I do have it to where you can at least see what I'm doing and talking you through it. So Let's put this all together and we'll wrap this piece up. Fill in a few more gaps here, make it all fluffy and beautiful. Trim down those ribbons the way you like it before they look visually. And remember what I say, measure twice, cut once. Take a look at it, cut it a little bit longer than what you think you need, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to be perfect. You won't even go back and trim it down. But if you do, you can. So I always trim my pieces a little bit longer than what I think I need to trim them, because once I get done fluffing them out and I take that last visual, it's usually where I want it to be. Remember that little trick to fluff, fluff, fluff when you're doing your ribbons and lace. So you want to go through there, you want to get that off when you're doing a little, a lot of people make the mistakes once they put the ribbons on, they think they're done and they don't go back and fluff it out. You need to go back and fluff it out. That's like, it's really important to get those pipe cleaners on there really nice and tight. If you are tying your ribbons on, just to tie them on and not using a pipe cleaner or a zip tie, make sure you double, if not triple knot them, for they don't come loose. You know how little kids' shoes, they come loose after a while. So either double or triple knot, or pipe cleaners are best, or zip ties. I used red pipe cleaners on this. They blended right into the form and they were perfect. Then go back and twist and fluff and twist and fluff. Get aggressive and just make it your own. You can use a ribbon or a pipe cleaner to do your little loop in the back to hang it up. A lot of times on these forms, the wire forms, you can just put them right to the hook and you're good to go. But with this being a heart with that little V shape in the tip, you do want to put like a little ribbon or your pipe cleaner or zip tie, for you can hook that onto your door hook or your, wherever you're going to hang it. Now we're wrapping this one up and we will jump on to the third wreath share here in a moment when I'm done playing with the heart. Okay, this next one coming up is so easy to do. It's just a little time consuming. If you drink a lot of wine or you have friends that drink a lot of wine, save the corks, because you can make a really cool cork wreath with your corks. So on here, this is a form I picked up again at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. Hey, if you want to pay more, go get it at Michales or Hobby Lobby. But seriously, these forms you can get for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. Or like I said, you can pick them up at Hobby Lobby or Michales. They do cost more there though. What we're going to do with this form is we are going to actually take a napkin and we're going to thin it out down to the final layer, and then we are going to Mod Podge it with this paintbrush that I'm showing you, or you can use a sponge, but I'm using a paintbrush on this, and here's why, because I wanted it to be pliable. So we're just going to rip this napkin up and we are going to wrap this form up and Mod Podge it down. The reason I did this is it just gives it that finished look when it's done. You don't have to do this because all those corks and everything are going to cover it up, but it's nice to have it this way because some of those raw edges do peek out. So we're just going to, just like how I'm showing you this glass here, that's the thin out napkin. Mod Podge with the dishwasher Mod Podge, so you can actually wash this by hand. Yeah, you can. But and see the frosted effect and everything on here, and I put little rhinestones and stuff. So it's amazing what you can do with napkins. So we are going to wrap this form with a napkin, and I made a champagne bottle to match. So that champagne and glass is like a set. So here we go with the form. Let's get to it. Mod Podge is my best friend. It's the crafter's best friend. Hey, you can make your own Mod Podge if you want. You totally can. I buy mine. Here's why. Because I know it won't yellow or crack. If I'm going to put the time into it, I want to use a good product. So I buy the Mod Podge. It doesn't cost that much because you don't use that much. So we're just going to cut this, well actually we're tearing it. We're not cutting it into pieces, and then we're just going to cover that form and wrap it. Notice those pictures behind on the wall. If you want to see how-to step-by-steps on those, they're on my channel as well. Little promo here, little self-promo. But I do palette knife painting, digital painting, watercolors, acrylics. I also make all kinds of DIY projects, as well as jewelry and wreath making and yada, yada, yada. The best thing to do is just jump onto my channel, Hallie's Creations, and you can see all the different playlists I have that I've created for you and you and you, and then you can just pick and choose what you want to watch. I started back in 2020 during COVID to do this for my friends and family, and it just took off, and now I have my own little channel, and I'm on Facebook, and it's both Hallie's Creations, super easy to find. And I am also on Insta and TikTok, but those are more of a springboard platform that I use. My main thrust and drive is my channel and Facebook. So, yeah. So like and subscribe, and leave me a little comment if you want to say hey or hi. I do try to answer all my comments. I think I have over 400 videos and shorts. So there's quite a bit of a little library at this point to pick from, and I'm constantly making new things. So here we're getting back to the project now. We're just going to simply wrap. And what I do with Mod Podge when I'm working with it is I get my fingers a little wet. That way it's more pliable. And always have like a little water sitting next to you for you can, and a little towel for you can get your fingers wet and wipe that Mod Podge off because it does get sticky. See on the table there you see some different like some necklaces and some bracelets, and then a picture that's a watercolor picture, and then you also see over there some beads. Those are paper beads that I show you how to make. I really do need to do a video on that because that was a live that I did on Facebook. That was a kiddo share that I did. And you'll notice here too I'm kind of talking into the my iPad here because this was a Facebook live that I did. So some of these are, you know, a year or two old, but like I shared, I wanted to put them into a collection where they were easily accessible for you, and I'm also consolidating my videos into collections, and yeah, there you go. So we're just going to wrap this all around, and then we're going to cover it with Mod Podge, hang it on a string and let it dry, and then we'll get back to working on it with the corks and how to embellish it and put the flowers and the accents on it. So just give it a really good cover, be generous with it. Mod Podge dries clear, so you don't have to worry about it. It is going to be a little crinkly, but that's okay. It looks really cool when it's done. This little technique you can use for making all kinds of different types of wreaths. You don't have to just do the corks. You can add flowers to this. You can just even leave it the way it is with the ribbon and lace if you wanted to. So it looks pretty cool when it's done. You'll see here in a moment. But you are going to hang it and let it dry for about an hour, and then you can go back and work on it some more. Ta-da! It's done. Now we're going to let it hang and dry, and then we're going to work on it some more. So on this piece here, you'll notice how I have a ring. This is one of those headbands that you can buy at the bridal bouquet places. Michael's, Hobby Lobby, they all have them. You know, the Flower Girl little fake head ring that they put in your hair. That's what this is. You don't have to use this. I just happen to have it. So I thought, that'll look really cool on a wreath. So that's what I'm doing here. And then in between, I'm gluing on these corks. And here's the trick on gluing on wine corks, is you have to hold it there and let it, you know, dry and stick to the form. So this takes a little patience, and just be super careful because hot glue gets hot. That's why it's hot. But you're going to press and hold these corks in place as you build your foundation. Another thing, if you're noticing, I whitewashed these corks. So what I did is I threw them into a mason jar, or any kind of jar with a lid. I put some water in there, squirt some white acrylic paint in there, gave it a good shaking, did that for about a day or two, took them out, let them dry. And then you'll also see on some of these other corks, they're really dark, like a burgundy, and that's because I soaked them in leftover Merlot wine. A lot of the wine bottles and corks I have given to me by friends and neighbors, and sometimes I'll just do a shout out on Facebook and say, hey, anybody in the area have extra wine bottles or corks? I have some projects to do, and I just go pick them up. Trust me, I do not drink that much. This is a lot of wine. But I even have my work daughter mail them to me sometimes. It's like, no, I'll come get them. But anyway, just save them and put them to the side and build yourself a little inventory. Another thing too on the wine corks is you'll see not all of them are actually cork now, they're more plastic. You want to use the cork. The cork is the one that's going to give you that really nice aesthetic. The paint's going to stick to it better, and so is the Merlot when you soak it. So you can soak it in the darker wine to get that really dark Merlot effect if that's the color you're going for. So we're just going to build in here, find all the little nooks and crannies, and just kind of make it visually the way you like it. So you'll notice here that I have corks going different directions because I wanted to give it some dimension and some depth. I didn't want it all to be symmetrical. So we're just going in here now and putting corks on top of corks and building it up. Now remember what I share too, when you're creating something, it doesn't look like how you want it to look like when you first start doing it or even halfway through. And if you see some of the art I do, you'll see how it starts off looking one way and it ends up looking something totally different when it's done. So just enjoy the process, kind of go with the flow and let it organically happen for you. Here up in the corner is a little wreath I made for Valentine's, this last Valentine's Day, and that's an individual share that you can check out on my YouTube playlist if you want to see how to make that wreath. I think I have it on my Facebook page too. So now we're just going to go through here. We're going to add some baby's breath and just kind of gently tuck and glue those in the gaps. This baby's breath I picked up actually through Amazon. It looks real. I absolutely love it. And we're just snipping off tiny little pieces and we're just poking it around. And with that headband that we built on top of, it just brings it all together. This stylus I pick up at the DollarTree. For those of you that follow me, you already know that trick, but this is just perfect to have where you don't burn your fingers when you're holding things down. It has saved my fingers so many times. So now we're just going to glue some flowers on here. And you'll notice how I have the ribbons hanging on the bottom from the headband. That's where I'm going to finish off with my accents. So you'll see that here. I buy most of my flowers from Michales, some from Hobby Lobby, and again, I get them on sale because they're super expensive otherwise, but I like to have quality flowers. Once in a while I'll pick them up from the Dollar Tree, but not that often. More than often it's Michael's, Hobby Lobby. Joann's even has them. Joann's is just off-brand of Michael's. So see how I have that hanging there, and it's just kind of accented that all together. Here's a little reminder too, when you're cutting your flowers, leave that little stem on the back a little bit so your flowers don't fall apart, and it also gives you something to grab onto and stick and glue. So you don't want to cut it all the way down, otherwise the petals will come off in your hand. So don't do that. We're just going to build and add until we're happy with the way it looks. One thing that I do, I take the pearls, and you can do this with Mod Podge or the hot glue, whatever you're working with, and I cover up where the corkscrew goes in, and then that way you don't have a hole in your cork, and it looks pretty. So all those little holes that you have in the tip of your cork from taking your cork out of your wine bottle, you just cover them up with a flathead pearl or any type of embellishment, and it finishes it off. Looks like you did it on purpose. It's so cool. So see how we're just going to dab a little hot glue on there, and then we're going to cover up that corkscrew hole. Bam! When I jump into a project, I'm just making it up as I go along. There is no big major plan. I have an idea in my head where I want to go with it, but then I kind of let the project kind of lead its way on how to do it. And here I'm doing those covering those corkscrew holes up with the pearls. It's really added a nice little finishing touch to this. And there is a wreath, pretty much made out of Dollar Tree materials, the Michael flowers, and a whole bunch of wine corks. This ribbon heart form wreath is, again, remember that form that we did the other wreath on? I spray painted this with white paint. It came out pink. Looks pretty cool. And then I just did the same idea that we did on the other one, a whole bunch of ribbons, different type of ribbons this time, and we're going to fill out this form. We're going to do it with zip ties instead of the pipe cleaners. We're using a wider ribbon, and here we go. Remember how I shared you can zigzag or you can loop on your ribbon depending if you have two finishes. So if the finish is good on both sides, so that would be two finishes, both sides are good. But if you have one, then you want to loop it. This ribbon, it's good. So you could do it loop or zigzag. But just remember that little trick. So you lay it, fold it in half, get the center, and then attach it to the form. We're going to do this all the way around. There's a little heart wreath that we just finished 2 videos earlier, ribbons and lace. Now we're doing this with the country style. 2 loops and don't zigzag. If you zigzag, that's okay if your ribbon allows you to do that. But just be mindful that you don't want that pretty side and on the underneath. You want it popping up. Always fold in half to find the center for you don't have a lopsided bow. Yeah. Little trick there. Make little bunny ears. And then these little hearts we're going to add as accents as we finish off the bow. If you're noticing that bottle on my table, that's actually going to be turned into a hummingbird feeder. I actually did that after I finished this wreath that day. So that's on my YouTube playlist under bottle art. So if you want to see how to turn a bottle into a hummingbird feeder, check that out. It's kind of cool, kind of fun. Little reminder, use your wire cutters to cut your zip ties. Yep. And use the flat side, that'll get closer to the zip tie. You don't want to go all the way down and cut your head, but you want to cut to the head. I just had to show you this beautiful flower. Yes, that's a Christmas flower. I bought those after Christmas, 80 or 90% off. Might have been 70, because to get the really good deals, the pretty stuff, you might have to do 70% off. But I hung on to those because I saw those and I thought those would be perfect for Valentine's Day. So I grabbed up a whole bunch of red and white flowers after the holidays. Now we're going to glue those onto this form here, make it all pretty. Save your leaves because you're going to use your leaves to accent. And here you go. Hold that flower down for a second before that glue can dry a little bit before you let go. You'll also notice on a lot of my creations, I don't do the top or the bottom or the side. I kind of, depending on the form, depends on where I'm going to put the flowers and the accents. So you don't always have to put them on the bottom or the top or the sides. Look at it and kind of get a feel for it and see what's working for you and where you see visually where those are going to go. This one here, I put it on the side going down to the big bow on the bottom. I just thought that would be pretty. Remember too, I always share less is best, so you don't have to fill the whole thing up with flowers. Just, accent it, give it a little pop, it'll look pretty. Now we're going to use some of that floppy satin with some ribbon here. Remember I was saying that doesn't stand up, but we're using it with ribbon that does have the wire edging. This one does not, but these are going to just be fillers and they're going to add accent and look really pretty on here. So you can use both. And you'll see how pretty this looks when you get it all done, especially with the white tooling fluffing out of it and making that satin ribbon pop. See how it just is simple loop, a couple loops of tulle. You'll go back and you'll fluff it all out, and it'll look really pretty. Be aggressive, go through and just twist and pull and fluff those bows and satin ribbons and tulle all out. Make it all fluffy, fluffy, fluffy. You'll notice here too how you can see the heart form, that pink, how it's pink and red because I spray painted that white. But see now when I lift it up, it covers up most of it. But it does give that little pop a little bit. So when it does show, it looks kind of cute because it has the little accents on there as well. Now we're just going to go through and trim it up a little bit, fluff it out a little bit more, and have it lay the way you want. See how pretty it's coming? Time to attach our big bow. And then also remember too, you want to put a ribbon or a zip tie or a pipe cleaner on the back of it, or a string for you can hang it up. Because with the V on the top of a heart-shaped wreath form, it's not going to lay as well if you just click it on there. So you want to have some type of hook for it. Now we're going to add some cute little hearts and accents on here, and we'll be done. So cute. These little hearts I actually picked up through Kohl's. But you can get them at the hobby store and stuff as well too. They have little hugs and kisses on them, the little X and O's. I'm just kind of showing you the back what it looks like, and then the front. Done. So you could take those red hearts that you decorate during the holidays with, and you can use them to make wreath forms. So kind of cool. Kind of a cool little neat trick. So don't throw them away. Give them to your crafty friends, or make yourself a heart. Hang on to your ribbons and lace and just start pipe cleaning them on there as you come across them. So much fun. So now that we made this one, we're going to jump on to the next one. Of course, this is my little closure here because this is, like I said, it's a video that's on my channel, but we are going to pop over to one more share. So we're not done yet, but wait, there's more. One more to go. I saved the best for last. This is my favorite. I absolutely love this wreath and how it turned out. What you're going to do is have your glue gun ready, your corks prepped, ready to go, and we're going to use this wood vine form that we picked up. Yeah, you guessed it, the Dollar Tree for $1.25. But this form here works really well for making a wine cork wreath, and it's different and unique. So we're going to get started on here. And we're going to use the pearl tip needles. You're going to see how we're going to use those, as well as I'm showing you in the jar. Remember earlier I told you on the other wreath how you put paint with water in there and you put your corks in there and you shake it up, and that gives you that whitewash effect. If you wanted to actually do a different color, you totally could. Do the same thing to make the Merlot wreath corks. See here, we're doing the whitewash on here because this is going to be a beach theme seashell wreath form. So we're doing the wine corks with seashells and some floral accents. Again, you see here on my creative table how I have some jewelry sitting there and the bottle. And then here I'm showing you on a cork how you can make a champagne cork into a place card holder just by simply slitting the top of it. And those, a lot of those are on my channel as well as how to do that. So here we're going to go making this wreath with the corks, and we're going to get started. This one is so simple. All you're going to do is in those nooks and crannies, you're going to go through and you're going to start gluing your corks onto your form. Once you get the corks on the form the way you like it, then you're going to build it out and give it some dimension. So we're going to do that, and I'll be back. That's just a little pop-up of some of the creations that we've made on Hallie's Creations. The bottle art, the painted glass, the Mod Podge glass, as well as the wreath forms and such. So here we're just going to go through all those little nooks and crannies, and we're going to start putting the corks in there. So we're just going to fill in the wreath form, and we're just going to let it naturally flow and organically just pop them in there. We're going to work with it, not fight it. If you're an artist and you throw your paintbrushes, the acrylic paint when you're doing your paint, into a jar, you could just take that, water it a little bit more, and throw your corks in there, and it'll make it whatever color it's in that jar. So it's kind of fun, something different. I just wanted the whitewash for this because I love white. That's my color. That's what makes me happy. But I like white. It's so clean. But anyway, you could use whatever color you want. You can use your old dirty paintbrush water to stain your corks if you want to. What I do is I let them soak for a good day, and then I take them out, and I shake them throughout the day, and then I take them out the next day or so. Sometimes I forget about them, and I go back a week later, and then I just let them dry on a paper towel or even on a glass top. I have on my painting table a glass top that I use to mix my colors and mediums, and I'll just put them there and let them dry as well. And I turn them a little bit. Here you'll see supply suggestions. Check out the link below. If you're watching this on Facebook, I'm going to try to remember to do that. But I try. But on my YouTube channel, yes, in my descriptions there will be my Amazon supply list that you can go on, click on that link, and it'll take you to my page. I do not have affiliated links. I am not affiliated or anything like that. This is just my personal profile that I created into Hallie's Creations, where I can have different supply lists readily available for you to see what I'm using, as well as I tell you when we're talking and we're doing these shares where things come from. So it's pretty much DollarTree, Michaels, Hobby Lobby. When I'm out yard selling, I find all kinds of cool stuff. And Wally's World, Walmart, but I really don't get a whole lot from Walmart. Just the little odds and ends and whatnots. And then Amazon. I get a lot of stuff from Amazon, like my pearl tip beads and things like that. So yeah, that's where they're at. So you can click on that link and you can check that out. If you do check out my Amazon page, just click that you're following me, for I know you're there and that you visited, and it shows Amazon too that I'm getting a little bit of traffic there. But like I said, that's just my profile that I made into Hallie's Creations, for you could have a supply list, and it's broken down by the different projects that I do as well. So if you're looking for supplies for painting, you're going to find them there. If you're looking for wreath creations or florals, you're going to find it on that list. If you're looking for jewelry, you're going to find it on the jewelry list. Each list has for that particular share that I'm doing. If you notice that bottle on the table, that's bottle art. And that would be under my bottle art share. Now that particular bottle I don't have on my bottle art share because I got creative one day and just went for it and didn't record it. But I show the technique on how to do that. You're just going to paint a bottle and then you're going to decorate it. And that's kind of fun to do. But there's all kinds of fairy lights and bottle art on my playlist on my YouTube channel. So you want to check that out to see all the different fun little bottle arts and creations that we do there. Once I get my studio set back up and get back to crack-a-lackin', we'll have a whole bunch of new different shares and stuff going on too as well. But see on here how I just filled that form in and you just kind of went zigzag and whatnot? So cool. I had too much fun with this one, but I kept this one. Most of my stuff I gift or sell, but this one I kept. I like this one. We're going to go through, put some more wine corks on here, and then we're going to accent it with seashells. When you're gluing on your seashells, if I can say that, is you have to hold them and make sure the glue's dry. Don't pick it up until that glue's cooled off, otherwise they'll fall off. So be generous with your glue, but not too gloppy, and just kind of push it down there as you're gluing it on. Now we're going to accent it with some flowers, and I went with the beige, the plush, more of a blush type color, more neutral. Again, if you want to hear me talking on this share, you can just go to my YouTube channel and look up the Wreath playlist and go down to this particular share, and I'm talking through the whole thing as well, and working through. I think this was a Facebook Live that I did, so I'm talking to the audience as I'm putting this together. So we're just doing a real simple cream bow, and we're going to accent the corks a little bit with those pearl tip pins. I want to show you how to do that. It's so much fun, and we'll be done. So we're just doing a real simple zigzag, folded in half. Going to trim it down. Not doing a big fancy bow because we're going to put a flower in the center of it. I always knot them off, so I put a knot over them for they look finished off. It's a neat little trick there. When you're whitewashing your corks, you can also whitewash your jute, and that way it all comes together. Here, I'll show you on this bottle how the whitewashed jute looks. I like it. It just makes it look a little bit more country. Be careful when you're cutting your pins down because those pieces do fly when you snip them, so cover them with your hand. See how, like you'll see here in a second what I do. Kind of hold it down so it doesn't go flying across or poke you in the eye. Then those places where your corkscrew goes in, we're just going to put that pin right through the jute, and then we're going to put it right through the corkscrew hole, and that's going to make a cute little accent. It just finishes it off. Remember too, if you don't have pipe cleaners, and you can use floral wire or any type of wire to wire on your ribbons and stuff. I'm going to go through and I'm going to poke those pearl head stick pins after I trim them down into the corks where the corkscrews were. Remember on the other share I showed you how you could take your flat back pearl and glue them on? This is another neat little trick. You could just use your pearl tip pins. These are corsage pins. They're so pretty and they're so easy to use, but you do have to be careful when you're cutting them down. Really don't try to stick the whole pin in there because they're super long and it's really hard. Just cut them down. So we're just going to add a few more corks here, accent it a little bit more with a few more shells, and we will be done. I do want to tell you thank you for hanging out with me. I know of all the different crafters out there, and just there's so many. Thank you for choosing to hang out with me. I hope I made things easy for you to understand. I look forward to seeing you subscribe to my channel. for we can do more shares together. If you have something you want to learn how to do, you're interested in, send me a comment, and it may be something I may be planning on doing, or maybe didn't even give it any thought, and I'll figure out how to do it. We'll see. But I am open to ideas. I love that. And I just want to say, may the Lord bless you and keep you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me at Hallie's Creations. And until next time, have a good day and a better tomorrow. And peace out. Okay, I had to come back and just say bye. Thanks again for hanging out with me at Hallie's Creations. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you. Happy creating and enjoy. Bye.